So I decided to feature the career of a former Blue Dragon, and this is John Kernaghan, and this is just a Google search of him that shows some of his work. So he, just like you, was once upon a time sitting in a classroom at ENSS, and he, after school, got interested in costume design, the designing, the creating of clothing, and he went to work for an animation studio in Toronto. So think about it: when you have three-dimensional characters, somebody's got to be making the clothing that they wear. So he starts off by working in an animation studio, and then eventually he starts doing mascots, and which is obvious from this page that you see. And probably the most famous one is this one, his Ellen DeGeneres one, which is featured on her show quite often. His website is at Hogtown Mascots, and he eventually created his own company. He's the co-owner of Hogtown Mascots. And here's examples of some of his work. So when you think of mascots, you tend to just think of these, the kind that goes to school with sports teams. But it's actually a really big career, because if you look at, for example, right here, every time there's a movie created, you need to have a mascot. And all the companies have them as well. You don't really think about all the mascots that there are. Okay, this one's bizarre with the smoking. Here's a sad cigarette here, and look at how cool this one is. So if we just start to go through, I'm going to go through these quickly. Of course, all the different styles that you would also have to work in as well. Anything from the anime to really high realism, things like this. A blue box. How do you take a blue box and make that into a character? This one I thought was I've never seen this before. It's the CBC logo made into a character, because of course, especially for things like kids, you want to have furry cartoon characters in order to attract attention. Try not to scroll too fast so you don't get dizzy. You know, things like watermelon, okay. And so many different styles. I'm just scrolling through till I get to the bottom of this. And again, you have the website address, so you're welcome to go through and keep looking at them. And we get a lot of the animals. We get all these ones for a dentist. I like this one. I think it's a Rice Krispie square. Not sure. Banana, avocados, sushi. You just don't, you know, these are the ones you think about here. You just think about, yeah, school animals. But it's actually a really good business. I like this guy right here. I think he's really cool. And then I thought these were hilarious. I'm just like, yeah, who thinks about it, right? But outboard motors, if you're having trade shows or you're having events and you want a mascot, so they had to take the motors and figure out, well, how do we make those into a mascot? And almost done here. This one really brought back memories for me, this cactus over here. When we did the musical Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, John actually came back to work with the designers to create some of the characters that we needed. He made two huge full-size camels. I don't think you guys have seen them yet. We bring them out occasionally, but they're locked away in the basement at ENSS. But we also needed to have cactuses. Cacti, I guess, is more appropriate. So him and I together actually made, this isn't the costume, we have them here, we have them at the school, where we made these cactus, and he basically taught me how to make them. They've got a foam head inside, and then the fabric is spray painted, and I spent weeks spray painting fabric in my garage in order to make some cactus. And then we're almost, oh, this is the one that looks familiar right here. Yes, of course, when we had to order the new Blue Dragon, and he also made the old Blue Dragon, is we had John Kernaghan make it. So there's a whole bunch of videos on his website about making these mascots and what the process is. And fortunately, one of them is the making of the Blue Dragon. So I want you to go ahead and watch the video, and it's really interesting because when you see the different steps involved and you understand, like, it has to start with a designer who takes this idea of a dragon and has to come up with the cartoon version of it in 3 dimension, and then you have to send that back to the client, see if that's what they like, and then you have to start the technical part of it. You have to go into a computer and start figuring out what this looks like before you ever actually get some fabric and some glue and you start cutting it together. So this dragon is on the website, and I've put the careers right here as the last thing that we're working on, just because both crafts and grade 10 are using it. So under careers, the first one is the making of the dragon. So if you just go in there, there's the link to the website that I was just on, and here's the video on the making of our own blue dragon.